Greetings everyone and welcome to the show. I felt inspired to do this because I had a few people get in touch asking me what I thought about the coming eclipse on Monday, which is the 8th of April 2024. And so I thought I'd dong my Tibetan bell to give a little bit of a cleansing and clearing of the ways, though I don't know how that will come out on a YouTube channel, whether you can feel the vibrations coming through. I shouldn't really speak over it as it winds itself down. But I feel this is an important time, and I've spoken to a few astrologers about it and realised that it's a very significant time. It's very interesting, the actual astrological chart for this eclipse. Most of the planets apparently are going to be in the houses 8, 9 and 10, which I find quite unusual. I'm not a full-blown astrologer myself, but I do find it interesting that most of the planets are in them 3 houses, which would be hopefully helping the planet and helping people to wake up. But it's whether people are awake enough to listen to these vibrations that are coming from the eclipse. From the Rudolf Steiner point of view, eclipses are a time when Lucifer is free to do as he wishes and will send all kinds of negative, dark forces down upon those that are not ready for it. Perhaps jump on those that are not protecting themselves or attuned to more Christ-like or higher cosmic forces. Cosmic forces are coming down to us all the time, obviously from the cosmos. But because of this eclipse and the blocking out of, well, it's a solar eclipse, so then Christ King-like sun king forces coming from the sun are being momentarily shadowed. I actually should have checked how long the eclipse lasts for before I began this show, but I did forget to do this. But according to Rudolf Steiner, it is a time that Lucifers and Luciferic beings, and probably Aramanic ones, can, like I say, jump down upon people, will be running amok. They have free reign of the planet, let's say. I live in the UK, so when this eclipse happens, it will actually be evening time for me. Though I will spend the day in some kind of continuous prayers, even though I will still continue about my day, but I will try to have good, uplifting, positive thoughts towards probably Christ, archangels, to the divine source himself, herself, to the divine source to, well, obviously protect me, but at the same time I must make that effort of keeping my mind, my heart, my intentions for that day positive, uplifting, and God willing. We have to remember this is our soul that we're discussing here as well. Our souls are the ones that are under attack from the dark forces. Our soul and our spirit. So perhaps be prepared for any kind of, for those that don't follow a spiritual path, may be easily affected by what's going to be coming on that ecliptic day and night. We must stay sun-filled and not become lunar-filled. We want to keep the sun in our hearts. I was also reminded, because I did a podcast recently with General Lee, where I was discussing about how Rudolf Steiner explained the war that Archangel Michael had with the dark forces that got thrown down to earth. And I was trying to explain how, because them dark forces have been thrown down to earth, these new types of dark forces, so they're new, well, not new entities, but entities that have been up in the war in heaven that was going on in that time of the 1800s. So they were thrown down in 1879. Steiner is telling us that we are the ones that are supposed to be help redeeming those forces. That's why they've been thrown down to us. It's our human mission to help them. And then I'd been reading a lot about the Vatican lately, and I was quite surprised to hear about that in 1859, Pope Pius, whose number I've forgotten which one he was, but so anyway, it was the Pope that was around in 1859, he suddenly became aware that black brotherhoods, dark forces, occult black brotherhoods had opened portals in the Vatican. And he was aware of demonic entities running around the Vatican, jumping on priests, taking possession of priests and clergy and other Vatican staff. And he was very concerned about this and was trying to set up, the right prayers, the right, would be Catholic meditations, and trying to bring his house into order. And then he died shortly after he was aware of all this. May his soul rest in peace. Pope Leo was the pope that came after him, and was the one that was elected next. And he was the one that gave us the Michael prayer, he would say Michael prayer, for the Archangel Michael to watch over all our souls and to protect us. So I'm just going to read this Archangel Michael prayer, which I think would be very, very relevant for today, since the dark forces, or this weekend, and for Monday. Maybe you could learn this prayer and be saying it out and about, whether it's under your breath, in your mind. But anyway, here is how it goes. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the malice and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander through the world for the ruin of our souls. Amen. I'd always thought that prayer had come from, ancient times, was to do with the Psalms, but this was, like I say, Pope Leo creating this prayer for the protection then of the Vatican, because he was aware of what Pope Pius had said. I think Pope Leo also saw them, like Pius did, running amok. So these were quite clairvoyant popes that were there at them times. I might be wrong on that, it might have just been Pope Pius. But Pope Leo was obviously aware of what was going on, these portals that had been opened. We could speculate much on who these black brotherhoods were, that were obviously secret societies that were creating these portals into the Vatican so that the dark forces could be let in. And I think they've been having them problems ever since. So this prayer, I think, is a wonderful one to use for protection for oneself. But from the Rudolf Steiner point of view, I would have changed the end, rather than send these demonic forces. He's saying here, thrust into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander through the world for the ruin of our souls. Maybe we do need to thrust into hell those that cannot be redeemed. But I believe from the Rudolf Steiner point of view, we are supposed to be helping these demonic entities redeem themselves, to find forgiveness for themselves, their acts, and find their way, their path back to the divine source. Because all of them want to return to the divine source, really. Though Steiner does say that those that cannot be redeemed, those that are going to be, just the most heinous evil beings that they are, they will, at some point in the continuing evolution of the earth, when it's moving to the next stage, they will just be broken up, they will be destroyed, their souls completely just pulled apart. I'm trying to remember how it was explained, and put into the into the cosmos. But since that's not to happen for quite some time, this has given them the chance for redemption, and for the continuing evolving humans or anthroposophists or spiritual scientists or good-willing people, to help the dark forces find their way back to the light. So something I just wanted us all to think about during the eclipse and what's coming this week, after this weekend. This weekend, I'm sure there will be a build-up of the eclipse. The energy is coming from it. And we must try and stay true in our hearts, and that we stay with well, with the Christ force, with the Archangel Michael forces, the angelic beings. Find the angel within ourselves, because we are all going to evolve into angels if we work upon ourselves. That is the next stage in humanity, is to become an angel. So that was my little show for this weekend. I send love and light out to the world, to you guys. May you walk with your archangel, may the archangels walk with you. Be prepared, remember. Stay awake, don't be controlled, save your soul.